Most one-on-one sales meetings become little more than pipeline inspections, but they should be far more valuable than that. In this episode of Two Tall Guys Talking Sales, Kevin Lawson and Sean O'Shaughnessey explain how salespeople can take ownership of the meeting, surface the obstacles slowing down deals, and get the coaching and resources they actually need from their sales leader. You'll hear why preparation matters, why your pipeline should not dominate the entire conversation, and how a better meeting structure can improve both performance and revenue. If you want your next one-on-one to help you sell more rather than simply report what happened, keep listening.
Back to Two Tall Guys Talking Sales. I'm going to speak to the salespeople out there that are struggling potentially to have a great overview meeting in their one-on-one conversations with their sales leader. Now, for those of you that have a great sales leader that is doing a fantastic job and helping you through the process and helping you grow your sales and helping you do all the great things, maybe you don't have to listen to this episode. Maybe you could get some ideas from this episode though. And if you don't have that great sales leader that is really doing a fantastic job of leading you through the process, this may be an opportunity, without being a jerk, without being tough on your boss, to actually manage your manager, to give your manager some suggestions on how you think a one-on-one should go to have this conversation about how they can help you grow your revenue. So we have some ideas on how that can happen. But once again, if you're a sales leader, take some ideas, use that in your one-on-ones with your salespeople. If you're a salesperson and you're not getting this format, you're not getting this help, we might be able to give you some ideas that are going to help you, help your manager, help you do that Jerry Maguire kind of push on how to help you to be successful. So the first thing I'm going to say is you need to come to your sales meeting, your one-on-one sales meeting. And that might be a 30-minute meeting. It might be a 45, an hour meeting. That's kind of up to you and your manager, but you need to come prepared. Don't come and just like sit back and say, I'll answer any question you want, boss. You just go ahead and just lead the meeting and drive it. Instead, you should have the philosophy of, this is your meeting. You should have the philosophy of, you need to be prepared. So you need to spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, half a day, whatever, to make sure that you are prepared for this meeting and you know the details about all your deals. You also should come to this meeting prepared to ask for help for those areas of the sales process that you are struggling at an account or in general.
The benefit to this for you as a salesperson is that you are up to speed on everything that you should be, and you should be identifying all of the areas where you're going to ask for help. Because your sales leader, your CEO, is the conduit to getting all the marketing support you need, all the consulting support you need, all of the other things for generating proposals or getting deals unstuck. It's a resourcing kind of meeting. So it's really incumbent upon you to own the deal. Your name's on the deal. And so it's up to you to figure out how you're going to win the deal and reach your quota. This is really an enablement tool for yourself. So if your leader hasn't given you a standardized agenda, part of your first effort is to build one. Build the standardized agenda that you are going to commit to running your sales meeting week in, week out. Your sales leader is going to have questions. That is fine. We do want to give you tools that allow you to do your job more effectively.
If you're a sales leader, you can take these ideas and grow on them. So let's do that very first thing. So the first thing that I would suggest that you know how to do is, what are you going to sell by dollar amount and by deal in the next period, whatever your business warrants, right? So some businesses run better looking at that on a month by month, week by week basis. Some businesses need to talk about that on a quarter by quarter basis, or maybe even a whole year at a time. So whatever works in your industry, only you and your company can dictate what that frequency is and what that period should be. But you should walk into the meeting and say, okay, I think I'm going to close these 5 deals this quarter, and those combination of those deals is going to be approximately X number of dollars. You should start the thing out, your entire conversation, by stating that. because that is going to be the beginning of what's could be wrong. You should then have some concerns that you might have on any one of those deals, and you should just rattle them off. You should be ready to go to say, on this deal at this company, which I think I'm going to close next week, I'm a little concerned that I don't have this covered. I'm a little concerned I don't have that covered. And you should just have those written down, ready to go, so that you can just go one after another, after another, after another. And I'm going to tell you, if you walk into a meeting with that, and maybe it's not the first thing on your agenda, but it's the first thing that you should be prepared to talk about. If you have that information ready to go, the 3 areas where you think you need help, the 3 areas where you need some coaching, the 3 areas where you're being blocked and you need to do a different strategy session on how do we get through that block? How do we get through that problem? If you have that ready to go, you are going to impress your sales leader, because most of your peers may not be doing that. So be ready for that. The next thing it's going to do is now you can have a productive conversation about how you can change your habits, how your sales leader can help you become more effective. They can join that sales call, whatever, and how they can pull in the guy from engineering that's going to help out, your accountant that's going to help you do the ROI analysis. Whatever is the blockage, somebody in your organization, one of your teammates in your company, can help you solve that problem. And by having your sales leader says, okay, we know how to do that. You just have to talk to Joe, because Joe can help you with that. Are the areas that if you can do that, if you can get that in every single meeting, first of all, from your perspective, your selfish standpoint of I need to close deals so that I can get paid commission, now you are, as a friend of mine says, now you are cooking with peanut oil. And this is when you can just go strong and you are getting the things that you need to be successful. And that's really your goal for these meetings.
Since I'm naturally bent towards sales operations, I'm going to give this a terminology label. What we're talking about here is the lead into the meeting. It's your intro. It's a by the numbers scoreboard. You know the score, you know the number of player fouls. In this case, you know the dollars and deals you're going to close, plus the details about what is a hindrance or an opportunity to smooth the deal and get it done on time. So that's your opener. And that can also be inclusive of wins from the last period. If you're a week-to-week sales cycle, wins from last week, what you're intending to close this week or month, same methodology applies. But then we go through and move from the scoreboard to the to-do items. So since you're having a weekly or biweekly or on some regular cadence meeting with your sales leader, you should be talking about the things that were supposed to be done that you were accountable to, but also you got to lead up a little bit. This is a great opportunity to lead up and say, hey, Mr. Business Sales Leader, I asked you for these things and I haven't seen them, or what's the status of these things, or I see that you got these things done for me. Thank you. Moment. This is the to-do items, the recap. This way we don't leave half-done projects all over our desks. And this is a wonderful time to ensure that you're getting the support you need. One of the to-dos could have been, hey, would you please help me find an engineering resource to talk about XYZ proof of concept? And if you don't have an engineering contact yet, say, hey, I still haven't seen an engineering contact. How's that going? I'm trying to close this deal next week to help you hit your total revenue number and me hit my quota number and us fill the work volume for our delivery team. So the idea of scoreboard and then to-dos, make sure that everybody knows the numbers and the activity to date. Then we can really get into either pipeline or issues and other parts of your agenda. Because if you have a 15-minute sales meeting, this is going to go by fast. You can only get 1 or 2 critical things done. So being prepared, back to Sean's point, is a huge win for you. The other pieces of the puzzle here can be somewhat flexible. And I tend to be more flexible on the order of the content, whether I want to talk about issues versus pipeline. If your sales leader is a former salesperson, maybe a new sales leader, they're going to want to talk a lot about pipeline. We can't let that be the only thing we talk about. So if you take away nothing from today, other than this one thing, take away this. Pipeline is not the only content for a pipeline meeting. There's more to a pipeline meeting than just how many deals do you have and when are they closing?
I agree with that. You almost want this to be a conversation with your board of directors. Think of yourself as your own company. You are running your company. You're running your business. You have these accounts that you were entrusted, your territory that you were entrusted with by your managers. You are running that business, and it's your job to make that effective and profitable for the company, your company, you yourself, and profitable for the company that you work for. The idea here is that you are the CEO of that company, but you have a board of directors, and the chairman of the board is your boss. And he has a board of directors that he has to work with on a regular basis. And that's everybody else in your management team. Now, so you have to report to them, you have to tell them what's going on, but you have to ask for the things that you need to be successful. And one of the things that you should be asking for in every single meeting is, hey, boss, did you listen to my recording of that presentation I did a week ago for ABC Company? Because I assume you recorded it. If you didn't, you should have. But did you listen to my recording? And can you give me some suggestions on that third part that I was kind of struggling with? I don't think I said that all that well. You need to have a skills building session, things that you think you can improve on that your boss now should be giving you suggestions. And you need to kind of demand that. You need to get better. I'm going to tell you a tough story that I did. And I've told this story on the podcast before, many episodes ago. I was with a VP of sales. He was a brand new VP of sales for the company. He had just been promoted. This was the first time I had gone on sales calls with him. He had a relationship with one of the VPs that I was trying to sell to. We saw that person. It was a great meeting. I'm driving him back to the airport. And on the way, I'm saying, what could I have done better? We did 3 sales calls together. One he led, which was that main reason we had the meetings. The other 2 I led. And I was just said, what could I have done better? Where did I screw up? And he said, Sean, you're fantastic. You're one of the best sales guys on the team. And I was leading the team at the time in revenue. Things were great. And he goes, I don't have anything. You're fantastic. I wish all my other salespeople were as good as you. So when we got closer to the airport, and you think about it, I'm like maybe 100 yards from the terminal, and there's a place for me to pull over. I pulled over well in advance of his drop off. And I go, you're going to have to walk from here, because I will never have you out on another sales call again. And he looked at me, he goes, what? And I go, look, I know I did 5 things wrong, because I self-identified 5 things that I could have done better today. And you just told me that you didn't have anything to suggest. So obviously you're just not worth me having around anymore. And so I'm never going to invite you to do another sales call. So that was a pretty gutsy move on my standpoint. But once again, I'm at the top of the leaderboard right now in revenue. I think I'm pretty much untouchable. And I wanted to make a point. He goes, wow, that was pretty cool. You got to pull me up to the terminal here so I don't have to walk so far. But here are the 5 things that I saw. And we had a great conversation about what I could do better. He actually sent me a note when he got home and said, I'm impressed that you actually challenged me so hard on that. And you made me be your manager. And I'm going to remember that. And I'm going to take that suggestion, and I'll make sure I always help my salespeople when I do a joint call. He needed a little bit of a, you're the leader now, be a leader conversation. And I was gutsy enough to actually stick my neck out and make that happen. I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm really not. But the point is, you need your leadership to help you get better. And you need to demand it if they're not doing it.
As we wind down our episode here, I want you to take away from this, what are you doing before lunch today or before noon tomorrow to improve your meetings? If you're having weekly meetings, you're committing to over 50 weeks a year, 50 or more weeks a year of these hour meetings. Make them worthy of your time. In the same way that a prospect needs to earn their way onto your pipeline, the meetings need to be worthy of your time. Salespeople don't have enough time. We rarely get more than 30, 40% of our time in front of customers. So we need to be ready as humanly possible. And this other 70% of our time, the 70% where we're not in front of customers, these weekly meetings are a part of that. Make sure you're getting the most out of your time. So salespeople, sales leaders, owners, operators, everybody who's listening to this call, we've been specifically talking to salespeople about how to get more out of their selling day, Because remember, all this rolls up and down to each other. We're all a team in this place. So thank you for being here. If you want to dig deeper into this topic on how to actually structure your meeting aligned to your sales process and your sales cycle, jump over to the B2B Sales Lab. We'd love to host you there for an office hours where we talk about these problems and really dig into your problems and build your best path forward. Until next week, happy selling.
That was a strong episode because it challenged one of the most common habits in sales management, treating the one-on-one meeting as little more than a pipeline inspection. One idea that especially stood out was Sean's suggestion that salespeople should run their territory as if it were their own business, with the sales manager acting more like the chair of the board than someone simply checking activity. That mindset changes the conversation because the salesperson is expected to report on performance, identify risks, ask for resources, and seek coaching that will make the business more successful. Just as important, Kevin and Sean gave you a very practical action to take. Before your next one-on-one, build a simple agenda that identifies the deals and revenue you expect to close, the obstacles threatening those deals, the help you need, and the commitment still outstanding from the last meeting. Do that today, before another busy day pushes it aside, because improving a meeting you may have 40 or 50 times a year can have a meaningful impact on your effectiveness and your results. If you ever need help with sales, sales management, or simply growing your company, reach out to Sean or Kevin using the contact information in the show notes. You can also join the B2B Sales Lab, where salespeople and sales leaders work together to answer real sales questions, share useful resources, and help one another make quota. The link to the lab is also waiting for you in the show notes. And if you found this episode valuable, subscribe to Two Tall Guys Talking Sales on your favorite podcast player so the next conversation with Kevin and Sean is ready for you when it drops. We'll be back next Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern with another episode designed to help you sell and lead more effectively. Until then, happy selling!